Holy shit, my hair is a wreck. Anyway, I just woke up. It is 5 a.m. and I'm doing homework because I am going back to college at 45 years old, trying to get my bachelor's degree. Not trying, I'm going to get that fucking thing. Anyway, it's really weird because I was sitting here watching our near and dear, and actually the man who introduced me to being woke for the very first time, and like the terminology about, PMO and all that shit. Anyway, I'm sitting here listening to Lloyd Evans. It's a bunker. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I've been disfellowshipped twice. And both times, of course, I had a judicial committee. However, the second time, this last time, um, crazy, but they didn't have to come looking for me. I sought their spiritual direction, if you want to call it that, which is what I called it before I actually had that second meeting with them. But I sought their spiritual guidance. Um, at the time, I was struggling with addiction. I'm still an addict, but I'm not using. I'm almost 4 years clean now. Thank you very much. Anyway, I had approached the brothers and had expressed to them my struggles and um, what I was going through as far as relapse. I expressed to them that I had relapsed and that I was looking for some spiritual guidance, maybe some encouragement. Um, there were 3 of them there, I believe. And of course, they had their notebooks, and somehow the conversation got steered to my current, or at that time, current marriage. And questions were asked that should never have been fucking asked, if you want to know my opinion. It's none of their goddamn business, to be honest with you. Anyway, questions were asked, honest answers were given, because I'm a pretty honest person. I'm not going to come to you for assistance and spiritual guidance and then fucking lie to you. Anyway, everything was written down, and I expressed, regret. I expressed remorse. Um, I did. I was remorseful, and I was very unhappy, and I was very guilty and shamed, and you know, um, I feel like I spoke to 3 brothers who had no fucking clue what addiction was, and that it was a disease, not a choice. Um, and they never asked me like what led up to this. They never asked for any details. They just heard that I relapsed. It's because I told them that. Not They didn't hear it from anybody. It's not like I went there and got a witness person and said, "Hey, you want to go do some drug of my choice?" It didn't happen that way, man. So anyway, what had happened was I had been sexually assaulted after being drugged, and I had conceived my son, who is now 9. So I went to the brothers, and I never reported it to police. I never did anything. I was too ashamed of myself for some fucking reason. I don't know. Anyway, I went to the brothers to talk to them about that, and oh, they were disgusted. They were absolutely horrified that I was in a bar, and the funny thing is, I wasn't even drinking, man. I was actually the designated driver. I was just smoking some pot. Anyway, what happened, and it happened by numerous men and numerous times. For about 5 years after it happened, I had horrific night terrors. I had flashbacks, and um, it was a pretty horrific time when you have no support. Anyhow, they sent me to my car to wait for their decision, led by God and everything. So I went in my car, and for 4 solid fucking hours. I promise to God I'm telling you the truth. For 4 solid hours, I sat in my car in the dark by myself in the parking lot, sobbing, passing out because I was so exhausted from sobbing and telling all these brothers every detail of my life. After 4 hours, and I was pretty sure, let me make sure I tell you this too. First of all, I didn't think this was a judicial matter because it wasn't a gross sin, I guess, and because I had come to them. They didn't find out and come hunt me down. No tattletaling this time around. So I, honest to God, thought I would be either privately reproved or publicly reproved, but I never, ever expected to be disfellowshipped. Connection is the opposite of addiction. Let me say it again for those in the back. Connection is the opposite of addiction. So by disfellowshipping me, you took away every fucking connection I had. Every connection. My parents kicked me out. They literally kicked me and my infant son out on the streets without a car, without a place to live in the winter. Flat out. And just took everything I had from me. Literally, figuratively, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. My son and I bounced around from house to house. And I just kept getting higher and higher and using more and more drugs because I was not able to face what had just happened. And for many years after that, I continued to use because I didn't have any coping skills. I had no critical thinking skills. I had no experience making decisions for myself. I had no confidence in my ability to make decisions. And I had nobody there to tell me what to do. And so I didn't know what the fuck to do. Here I am, a mother of 6 at that point. Still 6, by the way. I didn't have any more. And I had no idea what to do because nobody was telling me what to do. Because it was either my father and mother or it was my husband that was telling me what to do all the time. And so, yeah, of course. I mean, I was socially challenged is a very nice way of putting it. I was far more than socially challenged. I just don't like using the word retarded, but I was socially retarded. I could not look an adult in the eyes because I didn't know how, because I'd never done it before. The only real interaction I had at that point for the few years prior to that was just with my children because all my friends had given up on being my friend because I was unable to be a friend back to them. So I had no idea how to be a friend. I had no idea how to flirt. My life was pretty shattered at that point. And because I was married so young and suffered and endured years and years of every kind of abuse you can imagine, I was just beaten down and I was like a kitten thrown to wolves. And I went into survival mode. And I think the heaviest of my drug use was during that period because I did whatever I needed to do to numb it all out because I didn't know any other way. And feeling it was terrifying. I looked at my children and I thought, how can any mother or father shut out their child at their most desperate time in their life? And I make sure to this day to make sure I tell my children daily if I can get a hold of them. They're all grown up now, but I make sure to tell them that there's nothing in this world they could ever fucking do that would lessen the amount of love I have for them. They can disappoint me. They can upset me. They can make bad choices. They can suffer consequences, and it break my heart. Whatever, whatever. I'll never love you any less, and I would never turn my back on my kids. Never. And I'm not saying that I encourage people to enable their children. Loving unconditionally is very different than enabling them. And what sucks is so much, so many things, but thinking about it now, what really does suck is that so I'm doing some inner child work, like I have said in a previous video. And I'm working with a healer, which I have never done before because we're not allowed to as Jehovah's Witnesses, Fuck. God. So I have no real viable memory of anything that's in my own memory, not from a picture or from a narrative. My own viable memory is about 7 years old, which totally sounds totally natural to me. Apparently that's not normal. So I'm working with a healer, and he said we do shadow work and inner child work. What the hell? And so I was like, yeah, whatever I got to do. Because I get to this point in my recovery where I just stop. Like I'm stagnant. I'm on the brink of relapse. I'm white knuckling it. And now, especially with my narcolepsy diagnosis and my ADHD diagnosis, by nature, those diagnoses are very hard on me, meaning it's hard on any people I try to be friends with, because pretty much like if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. I can't put vegetables in the vegetable drawer, or I will never cook them because I cannot see them. Same with friendships, people, everything. It does not matter. So that being said, every time I go meditate with my healer, and he's trying to get me back to that this memory I have, and I can feel myself choking up, and I can feel this knot right here, and I can feel myself starting to want to cry and revisit this memory that has been completely blocked for my entire life, and I believe is the one secret key to unlocking forever for me, to allowing me to move forward in my life. There's something that my brain has been protecting me from for many, many, many years. And I think that by not knowing what it is and being able to let it go, it gets me to this point in my life where I want to continue to succeed, but I sabotage myself. I can't explain it, and I don't know why, but that's the one constant I can say. Usually, after doing research, I find that usually this repressed or suppressed memory is because of childhood trauma, and more often than not, childhood sexual abuse trauma. And so every time I try to approach that in my brain, the craziest thing happens, okay? Suddenly, I can feel myself getting there. Okay, here comes the memory, right? And then, boom, my brain will shut it down. Like literally shut it down. I'm not crying anymore. I'm back to normal, like two different fucking people. It's insane. My brain's like, nope, not today. And so I am trying to figure out a way to convince my brain to sit down and shut the fuck up so I can regroup and I can extract the memory I need to extract so I can deal with this shit and move the fuck on, because I am tired I'm just tired. Literally, figuratively, in every way. I am tired of watching the people around me succeed and me being completely capable of really awesome things, but subconsciously, right in the middle of my brain, I'm not I'm not I'm not any farther ahead now than I was a year ago. Honestly. I mean, I'm clean and sober. I hate those words. I'm sorry. I'm free of my drug of choice. Um, that's all I've accomplished. I really haven't done anything great or extraordinary. And every moment in my life is still riddled with self-doubt and feeling completely unworthy. And now that I am completely immobile, not only am I isolated by the diagnoses that I have, but I am also isolated by being unable to drive and having my car swept out from underneath me and sold by my wonderful sister. Don't get me wrong, I mean, I get why she did it, I guess, but like, it sucks to pour $8,000 into a vehicle, pay off half the loan, and 2 years later, it's just bye, taken from me because I have a disorder that I can't control. So I need to confront this. And the weird thing is this, you guys, like, I don't even know who I'm talking to because nobody ever watches my damn videos, but the weird thing is this, okay? Allegedly, my father used to be a fucking elder. An elder. Okay, you guys, like, an elder. There is absolutely zero memories in my head of my father being an elder. My father is the classic example of a PMO. He is physically and mentally out 1000% my entire life, and I'm 45. He follows my mother's lead. He mouths the words to the songs. He doesn't sing. He never gives prayer publicly. He never gives talks publicly. He rarely goes out in service, only when he's forced to keep up appearances. He is not a ministerial servant. He doesn't run the mics. He is in there, and at the word amen, he's out the fucking door. Like, I think that my father's intellectualism and how smart he is, because he is very smart. I think that it is conflicting with the bullshit that is being fed to Jehovah's Witnesses right now. And for the past couple years, at least, the organization and the government, it looks nothing today like it did 20 years ago. And I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. Back when I was 17 and I visited, New York headquarters, and this when it was still in Wallkill. Dude, the governing body was an enigma. Nobody even barely ever saw them. Nobody really knew their names. It was just what it was. And I remember going to one of the congregations in New York City and running into one of the members of the governing body. And I only recognized him because he was in a video one time, and he had like these, or not a video because they didn't do videos, but I don't know how I effing recognized him. I think my parents maybe have pointed him out. So all I remember about him is he had these huge, bushy fucking eyebrows, and his eyebrows were like long. And it was like meeting Mickey Mouse, like insane. Anyhow, nowadays it's crazy. Like they are literally telling the followers of Jehovah's Witnesses, or I'm sorry, the followers of the governing body, because they don't follow God, they follow those 8 men. That no matter how illogical to human standards something might sound, that we say to you or order you to do it anyway. I swear to God, I hear Jonestown and Kool-Aid every single time I hear that. It's gotten way out of line, and I feel like my dad just cannot. I don't know. Like I said, I never ever recall my father being an elder, and the only reason I say he was is because people have told me that he was, but I don't recall it. I love my father very much. I love my dad, and he was my best friend from the time I could say best friend. Like, he was my solid foundation. He taught me how to work on cars, and he taught me what good music was and how to make great spaghetti sauce and about Carole King and the rain. And now he can't even bring himself to look at me. And my mother is traumatized by my very presence. And the fact that I cannot force them or make them or snap my fingers and have them be woke is probably a good thing, because I think that it would destroy my mother for sure. And it would destroy my father because it would destroy my mother, if that makes sense. They would lose everything. And if my father were to leave without my mother following, she would divorce him in a heartbeat. And they've been married 50 years, 60 years. So I have to let them stay where they're at mentally. I have to let them do that, because it's kind of like with drug addiction that I've struggled with for 20 years. You'll never get an addict to get clean because you beg them, or because they have children, or because it's not a matter of choice, like choosing one over the other. It's just a matter of no choice. My version, the way I say it, is that addiction is a disease of free will. So there's no free will. And I feel like that's where my parents are at right now. They have no choice, because to make such a choice would end them. And I feel very sorry for them, because I don't know. I'm conflicted too, because if I could go back and never become woke about this, I probably would. Because when I did finally become woke, I spent like a solid month in my bedroom just losing my fucking mind. And investigating and researching and having to come to the conclusion that everything I was fed and told my entire life is absolute horseshit. And that I cannot convince the people I love the most of that fact. And nobody that I am associated with understands religious trauma. They don't understand what it is. Like, although I am in Utah, so the ex-Mormons out here, they get it. Like, they're fucking crazy as shit. In fact, I can say that Mormons' beliefs are crazier. Almost. They're even. They're equal. I mean, if you're on a level of crazy, Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons, y'all should hook up and like combine them to like be Jehovah's Mormons or some shit. Because I let them come in and spill their bullshit at me, and I thought to myself, holy fuck, I'm going to jump from one cult to the other. Fuck you. Not happening, you know what I mean? But at least they're charitable. I will say that. Like, when I needed help with my rent or I needed help with a utility bill, you think Jehovah's Witnesses are going to help me? No, the Mormons did, but it was not free. It was at a price, of course. I went to their church and shit, which was crazy too, because they were talking to me and I was kind of taken back by it. Like, you guys are talking to me? Like me? Um, they must have thought I was crazy. Oh my god. Then of course I wore like my earplugs that said fuck this shit into their church and shit. Just because like I am very anti organized religion. And I just needed a power bill paid, so fuck it, I'll go. But like I said, they've helped us with food orders and vouchers to the thrift store out here to help my son and I survive sometimes. So I'm very grateful. That being said, moving on. So I'm now officially labeled an apostate, which is cool. I was going to get it tattooed on my knuckles, just like apostate. But that might be too much. And yeah, I have other things I need to spend my very limited funds on. But people say get over it. You can't, you can't use your childhood or your trauma as a crutch. Here's the problem with that. Considering all the trauma that I have been through in my entire life, the religious trauma is a very small part of it. Very small. Wrap your brain around that. I have experienced shit that would kill any normal people. So I just told my sister the other day, like, you're welcome. Like, I took that bullet for you because it would have killed your ass. It would have killed my brother too. The shit I've been through, and I'm not tooting my horn, I'm just saying, like, you don't get over when your very brain is fucked with for your whole life. Okay? I have a hard time maintaining friendships. Very hard. Because I can't allow myself to be vulnerable. Because I don't trust myself to pick the right people. I have not dated anybody since I got divorced over 10 years ago. Because every man I date, the slightest fucking thing, and I'm like, red flag, get the fuck out. I don't want to make these connections, because if I don't have these connections, then I can't get brutally broken down and heartbroken. But then again, I'm lonely as fuck. I want to be loved, and I want to love somebody else. But I'm hella broken. I'm just broken. There are days I wish I could go to bed and just not wake up. So that I don't ever have to worry about hurting anyone and disappointing my kids and being even more the topic of gossip around my family. Sorry, my relatives. That's not to say I'm suicidal. I just feel like, because I'm not. I'm a hella chicken. I would never kill myself. But I just want to stop existing. I'm surviving. I'm not living. There's not one single person that I know of that I can talk to about anything. I don't have one single friend like that. I have never sat down with even a therapist and spilled my guts. I think that I might think that if I start crying, I won't be able to stop. And I can't. do that. You know, so this is not how I envisioned my life. This isn't my plan. I used to be so social, and now every time I go in public, I just want to go home. I feel immature. I feel ill-prepared. I feel insecure. And I feel ugly. I feel unlovable. And stupid. I do. And even though deep down I know that I'm none of these things, I still don't have one friend that I can count on, no matter what. Not one. So fuck the organization of Jehovah's Witnesses for stealing away my life. Fuck them for stealing away my lifeline and my parents and my sister and my brother and all my friends and every sort of connection I ever had. I'm sure that my brain has been damaged from all the drugs I've done to prevent from feeling, and prevent myself from becoming vulnerable. I have been disfellowshipped now about 8 years. And I'm just now starting to develop critical thinking skills. I am just now starting to have a little bit of faith in myself. But I have no friends and I have no fucking connection. And I blame them for that because in high school I was part of a punk rock band called the Social Butterflies. Like I said, I've always been very social, and I'm still very likable, and I think I am. Shit, I think I'm funny as hell. But I have a very strong personality, and like I said, I have a lot of acquaintances, but I have no friends, man. Like, I need some friends, you guys. Like, every time I see my sister, she always criticizes something about me. She always criticizes me about something. One of these days I'm going to haul off and pop her in the mouth. God damn it, man. If we were younger and we were kids still, she knows I'd kick her fucking ass for talking to me with the disrespect that she does, but she feels like she has the right to do because I'm not a Jehovah's Witness and because I rely on her for things. And I think that's kind of how they like to keep it, because if I am dependent on, somebody, then they can keep their finger on the pulse of my fucking life, or lack thereof. Because I tell you, now that I have no vehicle, I can't drive my son even to school. And, man, that adds to the fucking self-hatred and loathing, right? I tell you, there are times I feel like everybody would be just better off if I were to just go away. I'm a grandma, and I don't feel part of my kid's life, let alone my son's kid's life. And I'm I make a good grandma. Like, even now, I'm not even talking to nobody, and nobody's even gonna see this goddamn video, and I still will not allow myself to cry. Anyway, I want to find out why. I want to find out why the song Southern Cross by Crosby, Stills, Nash, why that song brought back such a strong memory of my dad. I want to know what I experienced as a child. I need to know, because if I don't find out, I can't keep running in circles, and I cannot keep this cycle. I'm middle-aged now. God, I'm 45. I don't want to live till I'm 90. Fuck that. So I'm past middle age, okay? And my birthdays I celebrate alone. My birthday was May. I sat here and ate peanut butter with a spoon. I didn't go out. Nobody asked me to go out. Nobody even really noticed. I'm kind of, it's like my kids are just slowly forgetting about me. And they should. I am not the mother I always dreamed to be. But I'm trying, you know. I just don't know what to do anymore, you guys. As you can tell, I have absolutely nobody to talk to but myself on my YouTube channel that nobody watches. And that's fucking pathetic. At this point in my life, I should be having, like, you know, some long-term friends that at least fucking take me out for drinks on my fucking birthday. You know, I should have at least one friend that I know without a doubt would be there for me, and that I know that without a doubt I can talk to them about anything. I don't have that, and that's not okay. Like, as humans, like, we need connection, and I have none, which lays a huge and tremendous burden on my 9-year-old son to be my friend, and he's not. Like, I just don't feel like I fit in anywhere, and I haven't found my calling, and I haven't found my tribe, and I haven't found myself. Not even yet. I was told that I'm a bad friend because I fell off the map for a solid week. This whole last week, I was like completely off the map. I didn't respond to anyone's text. I didn't do anything because I'm sitting in here in my bedroom, struggling with narcolepsy, struggling with feelings of being inefficient or unworthy, struggling because I might see a text and I might even respond once, but I pass out before I can do it again, and I'm so sleepy. But then I'm up all night because I haven't. Like, the fucked up part about narcolepsy that nobody ever fucking knows about, you know? That you're on a plethora of fucking drugs, and you get stuck with numerous sleep disorders. Not only do I have narcolepsy, I have sleep paralysis, I have apnea, I have insomnia. I don't get good sleep. And when I do get sleep, it's not good. My REM sleep is very limited. which is absolutely necessary to like clean your brain and shit. You know how many years I spent just staying up on runners and shit? Fuck, my brain needs some cleaning. Okay, like give me a fucking break. I would like to be able to not have to ask my sister for a fucking thing. And it's nothing personal necessarily, but by keeping me reliant on her for anything, even a ride for my son to school, it's like, it makes me feel like shit. I feel like a child. I feel like a child. I feel like a really annoying child with no friends. And you know, even if I were to make a plan to like go hang out with somebody who could potentially be a friend, I'd break the plan. I would completely cancel it. Because like I don't even know what to do with my hands when I'm talking to somebody. I don't know what jokes to make, and I don't know how to smile at them the right way. And I wonder if they look at me with my hair and they judge me, and I wonder if maybe I should change my hair or maybe I should dress differently. It's like, what do I have to do to make them like me for me?